What's up YouTube and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be installing these INJORA 32mm internal spring shocks for the Axial SCX24. So I purchased these on Amazon. They were in stock and they were $17.99. So if you're interested in these shocks, definitely check out the links in the description because they will be there. And so, as you know, I've done a couple INJORA videos in the past, so I'm pretty excited for these new shocks, the SCX24 Deadbolt that I have going on this channel. And yeah, so I've never had a pair of these internal spring shocks before, so this is all new to me. So what comes in the package? There's a couple different baggies. Oh, looks like there's two sets. So there's two sets of internal spring shocks. I believe these are some extra shocks at a different spring rate if you want to try those out. But for now I'm just going to go with the ones that are already installed in the shock. So let's get this open and then we'll get them on the Deadbolt. Okay, so now that I cut the top off, let's open this up. And so here we go. Oh, these are, actually got some weight to them. So yeah, there's the internal shock. And it says mountain. It says mountain on the side of the shock. I guess it was the be rock calling. I guess it's supposed to say mountain. I don't know. It's kind of one of those weird like translations. You can put mountain on a shock. So here it is again. Bam. So it comes with a bunch of different little hardware. It comes with an L key, some screws, some ball joints. We're going to be using those right now, and then some these little rubber things that go onto the shocks. I forgot what they're called, but it's going to be a little bit of assembly, and then we'll get everything running. So first, let's take off the body with my handy dandy Wera 1.3. Link is also in the description. Quality tool for SCX24. So here's the body off of the Deadbolt, and there is the spring and the shock flexing. So there's not really much, not deflection, much resistance against those stock shocks. But I have done the mod on those in the past, so if you want to check out that video, definitely check it out right here. So for today's video, we're going to out with the old and in with the new. So I have my trusty T-tool here from RC 4-wheel drive. I'm just going to take off one of these nuts real quick. Alright, so the nut has been taken off. The wheel comes off like that. I'm going to grab my wheel weight. And I'm going to wiggle it off if I can. There's the wheel weight. So here is our stock shock on the rear of the Deadbolt. And so just to clarify, it's two easy little screws. One up here and one down below, and we'll take off that shock with ease. And so there is a stock shock off of the Deadbolt. And so if you can tell when I squeeze it, there's not really much resistance there. So we're hoping that this new INJORA shock has a little bit more resistance to help out with the suspension. And so if you haven't seen my videos before in the past, I've made a couple different videos upgrading stock shock without doing much really. So if you're interested in one of those videos, definitely, like I said, check out that card up top. So now we're going to put together the new shock. And so as you can see, it doesn't have any ball joints or anything in there. Not ball joints, it doesn't have any of the balls in there. So we're going to insert them onto the shock. So in my little baggie, I'm going to get everything out. And we're going to do this very, very carefully, because those O-rings are very easy to lose. Bam. Okay. So the first thing we're going to want to do is grab a ball. I'm going to put it in the shock. And so see, it's in there like that. It sits in there like that. Now we want to grab one of these O-rings and put it on the ball while it's on the shock so it doesn't slip out while it's being ran. So I'm going to do this very carefully. Good thing I haven't cut my nails yet. So that went on pretty easy, the first O-ring. The second one's gonna be the challenge for sure. So INJORA is definitely a budget brand, and so I think things like this, where you have to kind of assemble your shock, is where you save your money. It's one less thing that the factory has to do. And so there we are. And so if you can see that, there is the shock with the O-ring and the ball installed. And so here's what we had before, and here's what we have now. So it's simple. It's the ball with an O-ring on each side. And if you can see, the ball has two different sides. So one side is a bit wider, not the diameter, the radius, I guess, of the flat surface compared to this side where it's a little bit bigger. And so this is the side you press against the frame, and this is the side the screw goes into. So when I grab my screw, I'm gonna grab it and I'm gonna put it on the side of the ball where the hole is larger. So it'll go in like that, and this will go against the frame. So that's how you want to do it. So now I'm just going to repeat this process on the bottom. So there we are. So we have the balls and the O-rings on the bottom and on the top. Took me about a minute to do everything. Luckily I have longer nails right now, but if I had shorter ones, it'd definitely be a challenge. And if you have big fat sausage fingers, you're definitely going to struggle a little bit. So now I'm just going to reinstall the shock with the provided screws onto the truck. Alrighty, and there we are. And so I've kind of intentionally put the shock on with the words mountain facing the inside of the truck so I don't have to see it. I think it's kind of cheesy in my opinion. I don't know why the word mountain would be put on the shock, but whatever. So that's all up to you. So there is the shock on the truck, and it definitely does provide more resistance compared to the stock suspension. So now I'm just going to repeat the process 3 more times, and we will get updated once everything's on. Okay, so I've installed the shocks on the rear of the truck. When I press down on it, the resistance is a lot more than the squishiness and barely any responsiveness up here in the front. So the shocks are definitely making an improvement on the vehicle. With that being out of the way, pointed, noted, whatever, I want to point to you what else INJORA provides with that kit. So I have, I don't know if you can tell, I can have some like copper looking springs, and I have some silver looking springs. So you have 2 more options to decide from if you want stiffer. This orange one feels pretty stiff. Let's see which one's stiffer. I think this orange one's more stiff. Yeah, this orange one is the stiffest one, and the silver one's a little bit softer. And I say these ones are probably the squishiest. So you got 2 more options on your spring rates. And then they provide you with 2 extra O-rings, which are always useful. Definitely gonna keep onto those. And then the oddest thing of them all, I don't know if it's me, but I have, no, there's an O-ring in my hand still. I have 6 extra screws. So I don't even know how that's possible. So I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, or if INJORA is just being dope and giving me 6 extra. But yeah, let me know if I messed up on that, because that's just insane. But yeah, now I'm just gonna attack the front, remove the same screws, and I'll update you once I got 2 more on. Okay, so all 4 of the shocks are on all 4 corners of the truck, and boy, has it definitely changed the suspension. A lot more resistance in the suspension of the truck. That's cool. Just gotta put the body on. But I wanted to come back and talk about the extra screws in the kit. So it looks like, I think I figured out what's going on here. So these shocks are for the SCX24, but they're also for universal 1/24th scale RC cars. So I'm thinking that one of these is specific to the SCX24 and the other one is a little bit longer, a little bit shorter for whatever other vehicle that might work with. And that means that there's also 1 extra screw per kit. So that gives you a total of, what is it, 6 extra screws in the end, 1 extra of each size. So that kind of clears that out of the way. So now I'm just gonna put on the body and we're gonna enjoy the results. So there is the truck with the body on. Everything's all set up. That was probably maybe like a 10-minute job, pretty simple. One thing I've noticed, it looks like the whole entire truck sits higher than it did before. And that's with putting the shocks in those stock points, so I didn't change anything. So yeah, it's pretty cool if you ask me. Yeah, look at that, that's freaking awesome. So let's compare the shocks on these two vehicles. So these are stock shocks with gold grease in them with spring spacers, and so I mean there's not much bounce back at all, if there's any, barely. So that's with a bunch of stuff on there too. And these are those mountain ones, internal spring shocks, and boy does that bounce for sure. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing yet, but just wanted to make a note of that. So yeah guys, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. Definitely check out the INJORA internal shocks on Amazon if you're interested. And I hope you guys liked that video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.